Hello everyone and welcome back. So today we are going to discuss about the filters and controls session 2, where we will be creating the filters and controls using the insert option. So we'll start with the checkbox group. So for example, we'll be creating a checkbox group like this. So there are four options for the source here, you can see. So when you add a checkbox group, you need to go to insert. From insert, you have filters and control, and then you have a checkbox groups. You can also add it from the outline. So when you go to the outline, here you have an option. Uh, sorry. So here you have an option to add the filters and controls. So you can just drag and drop like this. Okay, so like this you can add it from here as well. So I'll delete this one. I'll show you there are four options to as a source which can feed the values of these checkboxes. So the first one is the manual input, where you can just define the manual input. Then we have the script variable. So here you need to input the value using the script, and also like after the selection what action you need to perform, that also you need to do using the script. Then you have model variable. So many of the time if you'll be dealing with the live model or something, you'll get a model variable as well. You can also create a model variable in your import model, and then you can use it as a checkbox option. And the final one is the widget filter. Like if you put any filter on the widget or variable, so that you can use as a checkbox source. So we will start with the manual input. So in the manual input, let me first select any of the chart so that we can see like how the changes are working. So I'll go and insert any sample bar chart, and in this bar chart my model is already added. So what I will do is I'll have any of these measure. For example, I go with revenue. Okay, and in the dimension, let's suppose I go with a region, for example. Okay, and let me just exclude the hierarchy, and I want the flat representation. Apply. Okay, so maybe there are many regions. I will use a very simple example instead of the region. I'll go to the node of the region, and I'll use this option. Okay, so these are my regions for which I have the data. Okay, so how this will be used for using a checkbox. So this is my checkbox. I click on it. Then what options you see over here, you can lock it or edit the styling, like the color of the values. You can copy it, and then you can write a script. Okay, so basically if you want to put any information, you can add a text box here. Okay, and then you can name it accordingly, like this is region, right? So you can just add a message which says that we need to select a region, and you can group it together so that the entire thing looks together. So I'm not going into the formatting part. We will cover the formatting part later. My focus here is to help you understand like how this checkbox works. Now here you see the values are here. You can put the ID, you can put anything based on your need. So if I go, there are 5 values. I'll go with 5 values. Now I will write the text as central. Okay, another one is east. Sorry, this one is east, this one is north, and this is south, and then finally by default I want all of them to be selected, so you can select all of them so that whenever I will open the report, it will automatically get selected. Okay, then you have an option called enable write back. That means whatever filter you will select, that will be added to this variable. Now here you need to add a variable which says that write the values whichever user will select during the view time, it should write to a particular variable. So for that, first you need to create the variable. For that you need to go to the outline. In the outline you have an option, scripting option. Click on the plus button, you have a script variable option. Usually this script variable is of type string. If you select any other type, it won't work. So the name you can give region and something like manual input, right? So region manual input, because I will also show you the other four sources. So this variable is for a region and mi is for manual input. Okay, so region manual input. Now you need to include the array, because here we have multiple options. So yes, it will be array because user will select a checkbox, it will be array. Okay, so that is why you need an array. Now our variable is created and the name is region underscore mi. Go to the checkbox again, and here now you will get an option to select region mi. So during the runtime, whenever I will select this, those selected values will be written over here. Okay, I have written all the pages and this is my controls. So I will name it as controls. Okay. So in this control, what I will do is I will save my story now. Okay, my story is saved. I will try to run it in the view mode. So you can see, because we have defaulted all the 5 values. So these are selected by default in the view mode. And then I am able to see the value of the revenue. Now if I select the central or any unselect the things, nothing happens, right? Because we have not written any code like the action after selecting on it. So for that, what we need to do is we need to go back to the edit mode of the story, and here we need to write a code. So you select your checkbox group, and here you need to edit the script. So here you will get an option to write the script like what you actually want to do when user selects it. So it differs based on your need. Like you can also create a manual checkbox, and you can hide unhide things because it's a script. So whatever selection user selects. So let's suppose you created 4 checkboxes, and if I select one a particular checkbox, something happens. So that you can write like you can create multiple widgets, and based on the combination you want to hide and hide something, that is also you can do. But when you want to filter the data, then how you will do, I will show you. So what you need to do is basically our chart name is chart underscore 7. Okay, so what you have to do is you just write chart underscore 7, and then you need to write get data source. So it will get the data source respective to the chart. So what is the respective data source of the chart? So whenever you select anything, you can, what you can do is after writing a dot, you use control space. Whenever you use control plus space, you'll get all the functions available under this chart option. And whenever you hover over on any of the function, you will get the respective value. For example, I hover over on get data source, it says that return the data source of the chart. That means where the data is coming for this chart. So I will select this. Again, I will use a dot space, and then it says a lot of options are there. But what we need to do is we need to filter the data, right? So we need to, here you can get the data as well, like what data is filtered, but here we want to put the filter, not to get the information of the filter. So we will select this one. So while I hover over, it says that sets a filter on the dimension. Any existing filter except advanced filter on the dimension is overwritten. So I will use this option, and then you need to select. So this is Like I got the data source and I want to set a filter. Now filter on which column, right? So first you need to select the column, the dimension here is, and the respective member of that dimension. So again, control space, and then you will get all the member IDs here. So the ID is okay. So region ID dot region. This is our correct dimension because we are using the attribute. So I'll select this and the value. So even here also, if you press control space, you will get the open member selector. If I go to open member selector, like you can select these values from here. These are hard coded values, right? So when you select this, it comes like this as an array. But we are not going to hard code the value because we want the input from the users, right? So when user selects any checkbox in the checkbox group where it is stored in the variable region underscore m. That means we need to get the data from region underscore mi. So the same filter we will put. This is a very simple line. Hope you understand. So from the chart, we are getting the respective data source, like uh, on which the chart is built. And then on that data source, we want to set a filter and on which dimension. So region dot region ID dot region. That means this is the dimension and this is the property or attribute of the dimension. And what value? So values are stored in this way. Simple. I will save this. So story is saved now. Now we will refresh the view mode again. Okay. By default, all the filters are selected. Now let's suppose I uncheck the central. So you see central is gone. South is gone. West is gone. So that means our filter is working perfectly fine. So this is simple example. Now here the question comes is many of the times you will deal with ID plus text because many of the time you have a dimension which have both ID and text. Here both are text only. So in those cases, how we will deal with that? Okay, so whenever your dimension have ID and text both, so what I will do, I'll go back again to the controls and instead of region, I'll select some other field which has both IDs and text. Okay, maybe product ID. I'll select product ID. So I'll remove this region here. I'll go with product ID. And if I go with ID and description, so you see E100 is the ID and laptop is the description. Okay, the same thing if I do here, so I will keep this value 1, value 2, value 3, value 4, value 5, whatever it is. Okay, I'm not going to change it, but I am just changing this one. This is laptop, this is mobile, this is tablet, this is monitor, this is printer. So our values is changed. I'll create um, one more variable because the name is different. So here I will do it as name it as product for manual input. So this is product manual input. The type will be the same. Okay. Product manual input. All okay. Now I will go back to my region and I will, sorry, not region, the checkbox group. Will name it as product, and here you see, instead of region, I will select the product ID. Okay. And in the script also, I will update the same thing instead of a region ID, because now we are passing the values to product. I will go with product ID. Sorry. And we need to select the product ID as the dimension, and we need to save it. So now we have updated everything, and we will see like in the view mode whether it is working or not. So by default we are getting all the values. Now if I unselect the laptop, no data available, right? Now the question is why it is not working. I'll go back to the edit mode and I'll explain you. So it is not working, not because like the ID here and here is different. That's not the reason. The real reason is because when you use enable write back and you have a variable over here, a string type of a variable, these IDs are not considered because by default it always take the value from the text. Okay, so if I want to see the data, like what data is being passed to the product underscore mi variable, it will be laptop, mobile, tablet, monitor and printer. But when you apply the filter, when you go to the script and write this script, so this script, the filter is getting applied based on the ID, not on the text. In the previous case, our ID and text both were same. Okay, so what happened, why it worked in the previous case? So if I just copy this, okay, so here I have a copy of the graph. Now here instead of product ID, if I bring back, we were dealing with the region, right? So in this case, we don't have a different ID and different description. If you go here, if I display ID and description, both are same. So that means previously when we are using region, like the region name central, east, west, north, south are getting passed to the region variable, and when we write the script on it, it is getting filtered because ID and description both were same, it was working fine. But in this case, the text, sorry, in this case, the text are again getting updated in the variable, script variable, but when it is passed to the filter option that we have written in the script, the codes, the keys are different. It is not laptop, it is P100. It is not mobile, it is P200, which is not matching. That is why this way it is not working. So how we can resolve this issue is the correct way to do it is not use enable write back. Okay, because if you use enable write back, it will always use the key. So enable write back basically you can use if your key and text is same, or it's purely like you want to have a text and not working on filters, but you want to perform some action based on the checkbox selection. So then you are good to use this option. Otherwise, you need to use a keys only. Okay, so for that what you have to do is, so we need to pass the filter based on the selection. So here we will disable this. Okay, we should not use this checkbox groups in case we want to deal with ID and description for filtration option. So how we can do it, you just disable this and you can easily just go to the code, make some changes, like you can manually maintain a variable over here by writing it variable. You can name it like this is your checkbox group underscore 01, and you get the value of it. How you will get? So this is based on checkbox. Let me see the name. What is the name of the checkbox group? So you go here, it is checkbox group underscore one. Okay, so use checkbox group underscore one, and you need to use get selected keys. Okay, by using this, what we are doing is whenever you perform an action, this variable will take all the selected keys into it. And then how you can pass it to the chart is basically here, instead of using the string variable or the script variable, use the same thing, but here just you pass the checkbox groups underscore 01, which is my variable. Okay, so this is the simple change. We need to, in this case, we need to match the IDs as well. Okay, so because of from here we are reading the keys, not these values. We are reading the keys. So if we will put the value 1 to P001, it will not match and it will not work. Okay, so what we have to do is we need to match the IDs. It is P100. This is P200. P300. P400. P500. Okay, to default everything. So data is refreshed now. Let's unselect the laptop. Laptop is not coming up. Monitor. So this filter is now working fine. So what changes we did? So in case you are dealing with both ID and description, you can't use the checkbox group because this property like enable write back, because you see here it is a string variable. So when you use this variable, only the text can be updated in this variable, not the key. But when you apply the filter on any chart, it uses the ID or the key, not the text. So that is why this option is good in case your text and the description are the same. That means you are not maintaining a separate text like the case of region, or you are using the text not for filtration but for other actions or any other controls, like if user selects this then perform this action, if user selects that then perform other action. So in those cases you can use this, but if it is purely to filter the data based on the selection and you want to apply it on a dimension that has both the ID and the text, then make sure that you maintain the same ID, same text over here. Um, if not text but at the same ID. Okay, but ideally you should maintain both ID and text same as the data set, so that it will not create any confusion to the user. And only one change you need to make to the script is, like, first you need to capture the value that is being selected in the checkbox group 1 to the variable. So this is my variable where I have copied, and then this variable will be used for putting the filter on the respective chart, which is chart 7. So that's how you can put a filter on a using a manual input. Now we will try to create one more checkbox group. So we will insert a checkbox group. So this is our checkbox group 2. Okay. So instead of manual input, here what we will do is we use a script variable. Okay, now it asks like what is the ID that variable. So you need two variable, one with the which will have the ID and the one which will have the text of it. So you need to create two script variables for this to capture the ID and the text. So how you can do that? So it's very simple. So this is my data. Okay. So let me use the same, this one. I'll just delete this. And I'll copy this. Okay. Take it over here. So this is my script variable. So based on the script variable, what you need to do, because you see no value is coming, because unless the value will appear only during the runtime. So what you have to do is you need to write a code on initialization of the page. You need to write a code on initialization, and what is that code is basically you need to capture the value whatever you want to update. So you can create a variable, let's suppose variable members. Okay, I am just giving any name. You can put the name as per your need. Our chart is chart 8, so we'll use chart number 8. This is our new chart, and you need to use get data source, and then from get data source you need to use get members. You need to use get members, and from which dimension, so you can select the dimension. So here we are talking about the product ID, so I'll select product ID. So I will get all the dimensions, all the information into one of the variable. That is my step 1. Now what I have to do is I have to pass this value into two different variables. Okay, so for that we first need to create the script variable. So what we will do is we'll create a script variable, name it as, this is my script starting with SC or maybe ending with SC, because we are using the suffix. So what we will do is this is product ID SC script. Okay, so product ID. So this will contain the product ID string array. That's it. Now I will copy this because we also need one script for the key. Sorry, the text. So this will be product underscore text underscore SC, and this is my text. Okay, same. Now here we have two scripts. So how we can write the code or the script here is basically we need to use, first we need to write a code that for you can define a variable, because we need to take the key and the text for all the members. So let's use a variable I equal to 0, use semicolon, I smaller than members dot length. Okay, this is the length of the variable, and then basically I plus plus, very common in the scripting. Then you need to first derive the product ID. Okay, so just use product ID, and what is product ID is product ID dot, you can use push. Push is basically it adds the member to the variables. So you use push and then use members and the respective ID of the member. And here, like if I go this, you can use description, dimension ID, display ID, and I am going with the ID. Okay, so this is like, this will be updating my product ID variable, so script variable. So one variable is done. Now it's time for the text. So you need to go to text. So this is text again, same statement, push members I dot description. This is also done. So here you also need to add the members by using checkbox group 2 dot, you need to add that items. So add item, and where the item is coming from, the item is coming from product ID I and product ID text, so that it will understand which is the respective key and text of it. Here you have your page, checkbox group, go to the builder. So your ID is coming from product ID and your text is coming from product text. So this is how you can use the script variable. Now we have not written any logic over it. Just see if the values are coming or not. So what we will do, we will save. You see the values are coming now. Okay, but here the problem is none of the values are selected. So if I select one of them, then nothing will happen because we have not written any script on the action of it. So ideally we want all of them are selected by default. So what we need to do is we need to add one more array. We can do that. So because this is coding, right? In coding you can achieve same result in multiple ways. I'm just showing you the one way. It is not like the only way. Okay, so what I will do, I will define an array. For example, this is my array. So you need to use array utils to define array, which is like an empty array, and the type you can give as a string, for example. So my type is string. So what I will do is in my array I will add the members here. So similarly I will add one more line, which is my array dot push. Okay, and then you can use members I dot id. So I am passing these values into my array, and I will use this my array as a default filter for my checkbox group. So my checkbox group name is checkbox group 2, and I will set selected keys. And what are those keys? Those keys are basically in my value, which is my array. So I need to write my array over here. Okay, so oh sorry, it should be set selected keys. That is why it is showing. My bad. So now I can save it. So now what we have done is we have declared a variable where we have taken all the values from the product ID from a dimension, and then we have declared one empty array, and then we have run a loop. In that loop what we did is, like, whatever value is being available for a particular product ID, we pass that value to the ID and the text script variable. At the same time we also added those values to our checkbox group, and this array is used just to make sure that all the checkbox groups are selected when we initialize it. So it is saved. Now we will refresh this again and it should select all the values by default. So you see all the values are selected by default here. You can also like update the script to not take the hash value. Okay, so we'll not go into that details now. So now the next action will be go to the controls and select here and then write the script, and your script would be similar to the previous one. What we did is we need to use this script on chart 8 because we are using chart 8 for the testing, and then get data source, set dimension filter, and then here you need to select the dimension which is product ID, and the value is basically being updated in so the values you need to update again, right? So what you have to do is here the same code you need to write that we did previously is where underscore to, let's use some other name, maybe variable product where prod equal to checkbox 2 dot get selected keys. So we'll get the selected keys from here, and in the product ID we will put those keys. So this will be their product. Okay, so this is done. Now we will save it again. So we'll refresh the story. All the data is coming. Now we uncheck the tablet. Tablet is gone. Printer is gone. That means it's working perfectly fine. So now we will see the third option, how we can configure our checkbox group. So you just add another checkbox group. So after adding the checkbox group, this time we will be using the widget filters and variables, which is one of the option. And then for that we will be creating one widget. So let's add a widget from here. And this time let's use another dimension. So we can use a dimension called maybe sales channel. Just we will place this next to this one, and because this sales channel doesn't have a separate ID and text, both it is not having explicitly text values, so we can simply use it as a normal variable to write. So what we will do is we will go to filter option. Before going there, let's go to our checkbox group, and here our widget is revenue per sales channel, and because we only have a version filter which is by default it is coming, so we will select the ID option as the text option, and here we will write it down because we don't have ID and text separately. It's a text field, right? Distributor online and all, so it's a text field only, so we can use the variable instead of defining the variable. We can simply use the writer. I have created one string array variable and I've just added over here. So now we need to put a filter on which we want to apply this checkbox to work on. So for that we need to go to the widget again, and here we have the version filter. So we will need the sales channel, and let's select all the members, click OK. So the problem is if you select all the members, if I go here now, I will change it to sales channel because we have another filter now. You see all option is coming instead of the other values is not coming. So that's the nature. So that is a bit weird, but anyway we need to adjust it. So how we can change this value is basically you need to go back here and unselect the members. Now you will be using this option only in case a new values will not come. So any dimension which is having a static values for a longer period, then it is good option. So let's suppose currently the company is doing a business using distributor, online or retail, only three channels. It is very rare that company will use another channel. If another channel comes into picture, which is very rare, it's a long time change, then you need to update the dashboard. Okay, so those, but if you have something like every now and then a new value is coming, like date field or something, so then this option is not good, this checkbox option. Okay, and here you can select the book members, as we already know. Now I click OK. Now all three options are appearing. Let's put some border over here. So use the border, and after that we have written the values where you can see we have written the values to this variable. So we need to write a script here, right? So this is our chart number 9, and we need to apply get data source, set dimension filter. On which dimension? On sales channel. Which variable? So our variable name is sales channel filter option. So I've already saved it now. Now we will run the story in view mode and see if it is working fine. So I've just refreshed the story. Now we will try to filter on the online option. So you see online option is working fine, but because this value is coming from the filter option of this chart, now if only online value is there, nothing is appearing. So that is why it is a bit weird as well. I'm not sure if it is because of the nature of it or the functionality, or there is some improvement is needed. But as of now, when we selected online, now the values coming here is from the filter option of this, and if it is filtered by online, other options are not coming over here. So if you are using this option as a workaround, what you can do is you can create a copy of it, a copy of your widget. So for creating a copy of your widget, I will just copy my widget and paste it. This is a workaround. If you are really want to use this option, you can use this. So, and you name it, like I name it as copy of sales channel widget. Okay, so this is my copy. Now what I will do is here, instead of getting the values from this chart, I will get the values from my new chart, which is copy one, so that it will not disappear every time. Okay, so I have taken the value, the same value, but I don't want to show this to the user, right? So I will hide this. It is hidden. I'll save it. Now I will run the story again. The values are appearing. Now let's suppose I select online. So online is coming, but here we will be able to see all the three values, because these three values are coming from the filter of another chart which is hidden. If I select, and whatever we are selecting, finally we are applying to this chart. Okay, so this is how it works. The final one which we want to see is based on the model variable. Currently I don't have any model variable, so I will quickly create one model variable and I will show you how it works. This is our model, and from here you can create a variable. So you click on it and click on plus option, and then you can give the variable name. For example, I will use the sales channel only. So my variable ID is sales ch, something like this. Variable description is sales channel, and value you can select like what value you need. Okay, so here you have the sales channel. So what value you need? So I need the value from the sales channel. I will select the sales channel. Sorry, I'll select the sales channel member ID, click OK. So this is sales channel.id will be appearing over here. Now default value, if you want to put anything, you can put it. Okay, so how you can select the default value? So from this, let's suppose I want online as my default value, I will select it. Okay, similarly, you can create another one. Let's see if we can create multiple variables on the same ID or not. Okay, I'm just checking. H1, again, sales channel 2. Okay, so it is allowing you to create multiple one. But when you will be creating a value, the checkbox group, you can select either of these only, not both. Okay, so the main problem will be here you don't get a flexibility like other reporting tools, like whether it will be a single option, multiple option, checkbox, a range. So type is not coming here. Maybe in future they will provide, but as of now it's always a single option. That means we can't have all three channel options. So if I click OK here and save it, so now we will be adding our fourth checkbox group, which will be based on the model variable. I'll just drag and drop over here. This is based on the model variable. We'll select the variable. So this is our model. And here you see you have we have multiple variables. So we have channel ID, description. So this is our variable. So we will go with the ID here, and here again we will go with the description. Now here the problem, you see here the only online option is coming, right? Because our variable is um, this is the limitation of import model, that you can't have a model variable which can accept multiple values. It will also only accept a single value. Okay, so that's the problem. But if you are using a live connection from like DataSphere, BW, or HANA, you can have a variable defined there, a parameter which can accept multiple values. But I will show you functionality wise, it will work the same way. So now you have the online option. So let's suppose from the backend you will be getting a model, a respective variable, three values are coming. Then you will be able to see three values over here, and then the remaining actions are the same. Like if the values are coming here, you write back to the script. So what we will do is we will go and create another one. Always create a separate script for each type of thing. So this is our sales channel, maybe 02 sales channel model variable. Okay, and update the string. Going back here, I am writing back it to sales channel 02, and the remaining steps are the same. Like you need to add the chart over here first. So add a chart over here. So this is your chart number 11, and in this chart add a revenue or anything you want, and then the sales channel. Currently all three channels are selected, and then you need to write a script. This is our chart 11. Get data source, set dimension filter, on which field? On sales channel. What is the variable name? So variable name is SC02, and this is the value we are putting. Now I'll save it. Refreshing the story again. Now you'll see we'll have it. Now when we will click on the online, so the only online option is coming over here. Okay, and when you unselect it, all other options will come. So this way it will work. So I will just shown you, like, because I don't have an option to have a live model right now to have the multiple values and show, but functionality wise it will work the same. So this is how you can create a use four sources to design your filters and controls. And most important thing is you need to think of like how your ID or the key of a dimension are getting passed, the nature of your dimension you are using. That is very important aspect. Okay, so if you go to the other options, like if I go here, so if you go to the other options, so you can go to, for example, drop down. Okay, so I'll just open another page for the drop down. I will just quickly show it because functionality wise it will be the same. So I wanted to cover each and every aspect of Checkbox Group. Now these few of them are exactly same. Like if you go with the Checkbox Group, again you have the same four options. Okay, suggestions is like you can go here. Suggestion will be provided based on viewers input. Like sometimes you search some name, like you input three text and then it will give you the suggestion like which all values are matching with that. So that is by default enabled, but if you don't want to show them, then you can disable it. And then enable write back is the same feature that we had. So if you want to design using this one, you can again go with a manual option and then add the respective value. The only difference is it will come like a drop down. Okay, and here it will not appear once you will have it, and it was always a radio button because this is a drop down. It will only have a one default value. So here you can write similarly the values, like if you go with using sales channel. So one is, let me see, online, distributor and retail. So okay, cancel this. We have only three options, and then you can write it. So I will create so what is the difference, why we are not seeing the scripts variables that we already have? Because this is a radio button. The script variables that we have all are arrays. Okay, so radio button can't accept the arrays because it will only have a single value. So that means you need to create a script, sales channel, and this is for drop down 01. Okay, so sales channel drop down string, you do not need to use this, set as an array, click OK. Now you again go to your page number, the respective page, and now here we will be able to see the variable. So whatever value is selected, it is passed over here, and the next line will be the same. When you add a chart over here, so the chart is added, just have a chart and add any of the dimension and use it, any measure you can add, and now you have the respective values. Let me remove the decimal values, not needed. Okay, so now we have this online option, which is a drop down and this filter. What you have to do is you need to write the same code, which is, this is our chart 12. So go with chart 12 dot get data source and then set dimension filter. On which dimension? So we are putting the filter on sales channel. Where we have stored the data, so we have stored the data on scdd02, sorry, 01, and done. So we will save this and we will try to refresh our report again. Okay, so this is our refresh data. So now we will see if the drop down is working fine or not. So let's select retail. So it is selecting retail. If you go with the distributor, distributor is coming. If you go with online, online is coming. So this is working perfectly fine. So that means this is way how you can design your drop down, and this is not only for this as well. So what you can also do is like sometimes what we want is like we want for example, I'll give you a very simple example. I will update the same thing. So here I will have sales channel, okay, and here I'll have region. Okay, I'll just use this two options, and this one is by sales channel. Okay, and by I'm giving you a very simple example. You can, because action wise, if you know the scripting, you can perform anything, right? So I will just place it on top of it. Okay, this is my chart 13. By default I will hide my chart 13, and in my chart 13 what I will do, I will select my chart 13. In my chart 13 you can see the name over here if you have selected the correct chart or not. And then in my chart 13, instead of sales channel, I will use the region. Okay, now in the script what I will do is I'll go by default. What is selected here, you can see sales channel is selected, and sales channel we are displaying. Then we can go to the script. Okay, and what we will do is if you can write a code like if sc02 equal to what's the value is sales channel. So this is my first condition. Then chart 13 set visible, and here you can write false. So because we want to show the chart 12 here, because 12 contains the sales channel, we will just hide and show the charts accordingly. So here you can use the same thing, this chart 12, and here you need to write true. Okay, and now copy the same code. Okay, else you need to do other way around. So you can have multiple values, and you can have the like multiple else if conditions, so that's not an issue. Okay, so now we will save this and we'll see how it works. So now we have the chart by sales channel, which are the three sales channels, and if we select it by region, so now it is showing me by region. Again, if I change it to sales channel, it is changing. So this way, that is why it is called as not only filter but control. Like you can control the visibility, or you can perform any action which is possible and well under the limitation of SSC scripting. You can perform those actions based on the drop down values. So there is no difference in the other way. So I will not going to show you other drop down values. So you can achieve the same thing using script variable, model variable, and widget filters and variables, just like we did it for checkboxes. Coming to the next one, which is sorry, not this one. which is filter line. Filter line is very simple. Like for filter line, what we usually do is a user will get an option to add more filters. So you can give some a filter at the top, okay, and then user, if needed, they can also add multiple filters based on their needs. So filter line is used for the filtration option. So either you want to apply this filter on an individual widget or on the filters, you can. So let's have multiple widgets over here. Now the another widget, let's have it by product ID. Okay, so we'll have some multiple widgets, and then we'll configure our filter line. So let's have it a group filter, and you can select the source. So this is our source, and add the dimension. So we want the filter by month. You also want the filter by region. You want the filter by product. Okay, sales channel. Let's see how it comes. Okay, so we have added all the filter, all widgets from this data source on this page. Or you want to apply the filter on only on selected widgets, then you can go, and so currently we have 3 widgets. You can change it, like instead of applying all the 3, you can select 1 or 2. But I want to apply on all the widgets. I will go like this, and then all the similarly you can restrict like what value should appear to the business user. So if you go to the month, so this is not good option because only 1 month we have. But if you, for example, if you go to the product, so there are multiple products. So instead I don't want laptop, so I only want these 4, so I will filter by those 4. So these 4 are, you can see these filters are added, and these options are added for the business users. So whatever filter you will add over here, it will appear over here. Okay, and the rest of the things business user can add. Let's save it and see like how it works. Okay, so now here in the view mode, if I click on it, I am still able to change it. So that means this is filter is basically the default that is being added. So kind of a default in the filter pan. So this is added. When I click on plus, the other 4 options also come. So if business user want to put any filter by sales channel, I can select from here. So I only want retail and online, I'll select, and this is added. So this is how business users can add and remove. So this one is added as a filter, so this can't be removed. So this one is added by the business user, or at the view mode, this can be removed. So this is the use of the uh, filter panel. So how it works is basically sometimes at the or at the model level you have 20 fields, but out of those 20 fields, or maybe too many fields, for example 50 fields, but out of those 50 fields you only have 5 major fields to be added as a filter, and you also want to allow business users on certain other important fields, like 4 5 another fields that business user can add themselves, that but that in the rare cases or sometimes. So what you will do, because if, as I said, if you add all 50 fields as a filter option, then it will be too clumsy and not a good option. So we'll go with 5 option as a filter, and then another 5 option business user will be able to see over here that they can add as a filter. So that is the use of the this option called filter line. So now we will see like how we can use list boxes. So for that you need to go to filters and controls, and you need to select the list boxes. After selecting the list boxes, let's have one visual to be used. I will just copy paste the same visual. Okay, for example, this one. So here we are using distributor, distribution channel. So how you can add the distribution channel from here. So I will not go to the sources because I have already explained like how you can use different kind of sources. So for this one, I will simply use a manual input and just try to add the 3 scripts, which is distributor, online, and then retail. Okay. So similarly, you can have your values as per your need. If your dimension is like having different key and text, then you need to ensure that these values are matching with the text, and you need to use the other way around. Otherwise, if it is a normal dimension field where the text is not maintained, and that means whatever we are showing is the same, like whether you display the text or the key is the same thing, then you can use this option, enable write back, as I've explained. So by this we can add the data to one of the script. So let's just create a variable for this. So for this one, we will create a variable. We can name it as this is a list box. So we can name it as LB underscore, and this is for sales channel. So SC 01, something like this. Okay. List box sales channel string is okay. Array. So if you make it array, then it will not come because our list is single input. So I will switch it off, and I'll go back to my list box here, and when I go to select it, you'll see I'll be able to select list box sales channel 01, because by default it is like single selection. You can select one one item at a time. Okay, by default it is truncated text, but you can also wrap it if required, so that if there is um, a member which is having a broader length, then it will adjust. Then you have enable multiple selection. So for example, instead of single selection, if you need multiple selection, then you can use in multiple selection, and then maybe by default you can select one or two or whatever is needed, or all three you want by default, and then business user can unselect it during the view time. You can write it back. Now if I go here, it will not come because the script that we have created is for is for single selection. So we will enable the array now. We'll come back. Now the option will appear over here. We'll select this option. Everything is okay. Now what we have to do is we have to write the same code here. Okay. We'll check what is our chart number. So this is chart number 12. Oh, sorry, 15. If I click on this, you'll see this is chart number 15. You can name your chart so that with the specific name, because I am doing it for the demo purpose, I'm not investing much time on naming the charts. So we are doing the restriction by sales channel. So we will use sales channel from here. And then what is our script name? Our script name is LB underscore SC01. So this is our script name. Everything is done. We'll save it. Now we will view. So this is our dashboard in view mode. You can see all the lists are selected by default. When you hover over, the color changes. For example, I don't need online. You click on the online. Okay, so the online is gone. If I click on retail, retail is also gone. If I click on distributor, everything will come, because if you don't select anything, that means everything is selected. Okay, so don't get confused. So now if I want anyone, you can just click on it and then click to unselect. So this is how you can use the list option. Now going to the next option, we go to the page. Okay, so now hope you are clear. So in the list option, the thing is you can also use it as a single selection, but you can also use it as a multiple selection. There is like HTML tagging in the text is also there, so that currently these kind of tagging you can use for HTML tagging. Okay, so now we will go to our next filters and controls, which is a radio button. That's very simple one. Radio button is very much simple to the checkboxes. Only thing is like here we have a single selection only, not a multiple one. So if I just simply copy this chart, okay, for the radio button. So this is my radio button. So in this radio button again, I can name it similarly. It's distributor. This one you can't make it multiple selection, otherwise it will become a checkbox groups instead of a radio button. So the name itself is a radio button. That means always a single selection. Alright. Then you have a retail option. Okay. Then you can use this one, create a script very quickly, and this is for, maybe I already have it for radio button. Okay, so we can use this. So you need to ensure that array is switched off. Then you have the string type. So I'll go here and use it as a radio button. Radio button SC01. Every time I'm saying this, I am using this right back only because my dimension is not having different key and text. Okay, that means these values that is maintained in the text is also the key for my dimension. Then I am okay to use this right back. Otherwise, as I have stated, if your dimension is having key and text, then you need to maintain the respective key here and the text here, and you need to write a code to get the keys as we did for the checkbox group. So refer to that section if you're confused. Okay, so now we are writing it back. It is done. The last thing is we need to write the script again. So this is our chat number 16. So we'll go to chat number 16 dot get data source dot set dimension filter, and then we will select the filter by using control and a space. We are putting filter on sales channel. Our script name is RB radio button C01 colon. Okay, and go to the page, save it. Okay, so one thing to remember is many of the times when you are using this write back, by default whatever the screen you have shown, it will appear okay over here. Like if you have shown all the three values here, it will appear because on initialization you are not doing anything, right? You have written the code where when user click on this, that means before clicking. So if I go here, by looking at this, you see that we have selected distributor. Okay, and this is our chart. So I assume that when the report will open, only distributor should appear, but let's check that whether that happens or not. So I'll refresh the data again, or sorry, the story again in the view mode. So when it opens, you see that distributor is selected, but all three values are shown because on page initialization, we haven't written, we didn't write any code that reads the data from here and restrict the data here. Okay, so that is why once you click on this, then things will start working based on these selections. But in case, because it looks very weird, right? When you refresh the data here, it shows distributor selected, but in the chart, all the three values are coming. So for those things, you need to write the script on initialization as well. So on initialization, what you have to do is, this is our page 5. So here you need to write a code, the same code, which is our chat number 16. Get data source. Then we are putting a dimension filter. So we'll use dimension filter. Which dimension? It is sales channel. And what is the script name? Script name is radio button underscore SC01. Close this and save this. Let's see if it works. The story is saved. I'll refresh it again. It's loading. So you see that it is not giving you any data because of the nature of this. Like when you click on this, then only all the things starts working. You see. So on initialization, this value is not getting any data. Now how you will fix this? So because we have selected distributor as our default value, there is one more option. There might be multiple options because technically you can achieve same thing in different way. One very simple option I will tell you is like this is your script, which is RVSC01. Here you can put the default value as distributor. Okay, this is your default value. Done, and save it. So your story is saved. Now we will refresh again. Now this time you see it is working perfectly fine. So because we have defaulted the distributor, it is picking the distributor, and then on whatever value we will select, it will work according. So this is one of the way. You can either default it there, or technically, as I said, you can write the script in multiple ways or achieve the same result in multiple ways. So this is how you can configure a radio button. Again, coming to the source, um, all options are like how you will feed the data here. It's I have already explained initially, and then how you can restrict the data, how you will store the data in the script, and how you will apply the control. So this radio button you can also use to perform certain action, just like we did for this one. So sales channel, and we have other options for this sales channel and region. Similarly, you can have a radio button names sales channel, region, and so on, with for one radio button for each chart, and you can hide all the charts and keep one chart by default. And when user selects the respective radio button, you can hide and hide the charts accordingly. Now coming to the next option, which is a range slider. So range slider you can use to do certain calculation, and also to add some filtration in the data. So for this, best chart would be to show you using a table chart. So we will add a table over here to show you the data. Okay, so this is our table, for example. I'll make it a little bigger. Okay, so in the table, let's go at the very granular level, which is the order ID. Okay. So I've added the order ID, and then maybe I'll use unit price as my measure. Okay, so for each order ID there is a unit price assigned, or you can also add a thing called product ID, so that you will be aware that which product we are talking about. So this is the order, the printer price is this much. Then again there is another order, but here the printer price is different because of the different brand or so on, maybe different model or something, right? So we are not going into those details. I'm just showing you different products and orders having different price units. Okay, but let's suppose someone wants to know that what all printers or what all devices comes under a particular range, a particular price range, okay, in a dashboard. So you can achieve that using this range slider. So here you say that if I just sort it, for example, if I go at the top and do a sorting of it, sort it in highest to lowest. So I see highest value is 6999, but based on your companies or the data, you need to be very precise at what could be the highest range. So here, because the highest price is 7,000, So on a safer side, I will keep the maximum range available here is 10,000, for example. This is my maximum range starting from 0. This is my minimum range. Okay, but you will not get anything on 0, but still I'm just keeping it. Now you can display the minimum and maximum. So if I just enable it, it will show the values here. This is 0, this is 10,000. And then start value and end value. If I start here, so 10 and 50 are very close, so that is why you are not able to see both the values. So what I will do by default, I want all the things those comes under 500 rupee or any currency, you can say USD or AD, 500 to 1000, or maybe 500 to 5000, something like this, or 1000 to 5000. Okay. So this is just a kind of analysis sometimes we need to filter it out, like by unit price. This is just an example, but when you will work on a real scenario, it may be more interesting. Things like during planning, or you are providing a discount, like if I provide a discount in this range, or at you are providing two different discounts to do the analysis. So calculation wise, you can achieve multiple things. So here also I will enable the write back, and I have created one from and one to over here. Let me see here. You can see this is RS stands for the range slider, and this is from value. This is a number. Okay. This should not be an array because it will always be a single number. Default is 0. And then we have a range slider 2. Okay, so here default I will put the same one. So here we are taking default as 1000, so I will put 1000. Similarly, we have a range value 2. So 2 we are taking 5000, so I will keep 5000 over here. Okay, and now I'll go here again and I will write back my first script. This is from value and this is to value. So this will be these values, whatever user will change, will be updated to this. Now I need to see whether how the filters works. Okay, so either you want to apply a filter on this, okay, or you can have only those values, those are filtered by this by the unit price. Okay, so I'll create one more unit price by filter. So let's go, name it as unit price by range. So whatever range we are selecting, so here you can select the range. So how you can achieve that is, so for example here you see, if you just use a bracket, you will get the option. So if your unit price is greater than equal to your from value, and your unit price is smaller than equal to your to value. Okay, this is your condition. So before condition, what we need to do? We need to use if logic. So if this is my condition, if my condition is satisfied, I'll go at the end. If my condition is satisfied, then unit price. Otherwise, 0. Close. Simple formula. Apply. So here you see it is all coming 0 because these are greater than 5000. Our range is 1000 to 5000. If I go down, 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 everywhere, see, wherever it is below 5000, the values are getting copied. Okay, so this is working fine. This I have just shown you to showcase this is working fine. Now I don't need this one. Okay, I just need this one so that I will not get those zeros. Okay, so you can see these zeros are coming, but still, like when user filters the data, they don't want to see these zeros, right? Because In our formula, if it is matching, it is giving the value, otherwise 0. So what we can do is, as an alternative, we can go to the formula again, and instead of assigning the 0 value, here we can assign the null value, so that null can be suppressed. So this is our value. Click OK. So now you will only see the value. Those are between this range. So now I will save this and we'll see how the range slider is working. So the story is saved. I will refresh the story now. So here you can see by default the data is coming within the range of 1000 to 5000. If I go at the very last, the value will be very close to 1000. Now if I change this range, for example, I only need very high range values. I will just slide it towards 3000. Okay, so now our starting point here. So let me sort it out so that we'll ensure that this is coming correctly. So just sort lowest to highest, for example. So lowest value is 3500 and highest value is something near to 5000. Now if I increase this value, so I'm getting the values till 6000. Okay, so this is how our slide filter is slide range is working. This is one of the example. Similarly, using these two values, you can perform other calculations as well. For example, someone want to put two different discount and want to check like how it is working. So then you can also create a formula. So it's completely formula based. So in the formula, whatever you want to do and just name your range accordingly so that business user will understand. So if I want to put some discount on my revenue, so my profit will decrease, right? So what I will do. So I'm just giving you a sample example. Don't go with a real logic whether the formula is exactly correct or it is having some issue. So to simply showcase you, let's go with a profit. Okay. So this is my profit, which is not percentage. So this is a profit which is coming as from the source itself. This is my profit. Now if I give some discount, that means what will happen is my revenue. Okay. So if I give my discount, my cost will remain the same, but my revenue will decrease by the discount. So into discount will be in fraction, right? It will in percentage. So it will be from value. Okay. So we will not give it as a from value then. We will give as the name as discount 1, discount 2, because we want to compare two discounts. Like if I give this much discount, what will be the impact on my revenue? If I give that much discount, what will be the impact on my revenue? So similarly, like this will be my revenue 1, and similarly this will give you what this will give you. This will give you revenue 1 after profit. So this is your discount 1, revenue 1. Similarly, you'll calculate discount 2, revenue 2, and then the final formula will be profit 1. So your profit 1 will be profit 1. Your profit 1 will be revenue 1, which we will just calculate minus cost. Similarly, your profit 2 will be revenue 2 minus cost. And then you can compare existing profit, profit 1 and profit 2. This is a very simple example like how it will be very helpful, like allowing user to put different values and see how it is impacting their business. So similarly, we will just use another filter option where instead of going into two different inputs, we'll go with a single input, which is called as slider. So the only difference is here it will have only one value instead of two values. So for example, you only want to have one profit and you want to see how, sorry, one discount or one input value, and you want to use that input value in your certain calculation, and you see like whether you go smaller than, less than, kind of stuff, okay, greater than or smaller than. So with one value you can also do couple of calculations in the formula, and you can achieve your result. So I will not go to explain or create these all this stuff again. So I'll just show you again. The sources are the same as 4 different sources. Minimum value, maximum value same as the range slider. Here only one input instead of the two input. Again it will be single input, so you need to create a variable as that. So you can enable this, and similar variables will appear over here. You can select it, and then the remaining steps are same. Like you want to show minimum, maximum, you want to show the current value, enable user to input it, so user can input the value. Okay, so these options are there. So it's very much simple, or similar to it. The last option, but not the least, to wind up the filter and control session is the switch. So you can have a switch, okay, and it just simply allows users to al- allow it's a boolean, right? So what you want to perform with this switch, you need to write in the code. This switch will help you to um, just apply some logic based on your requirement. Like if switch is on, then when you perform any action you need to do this. If switch is off, then what we need to do. Okay, similarly, as I said, because this is a simple, switch on is a kind of a boolean. It is either true or false. So with true you can perform, or you can display something, you can hide something. With false you can again display something, hide something. That is completely based on your needs. For example, you can write it like a tabular here at the top, like tabular slash chart view, and then when you switch it off, a table comes, and when you switch it on, a chart comes. Okay, similarly, let's suppose we have a drill down feature on this one. Okay, so how we have written the drill down feature is going here and going to a script and on select. On select we have written a script so that when user clicks on any of the row, it takes the order ID and then it passes to the parameter, and it opens another detailed report where the data is more granular for that order ID with all the information. Maybe this is a planning a report, and I need to go into the order detail of that. So planning usually will not be at the order level, but just for an example, that if it's a planning report and I want to go into the detailed analysis of the GL, I can click on it and go to the analytical report. Okay, so that script can be written. But for the planning, user also need to double click on this to change the values because they are doing the planning, right? So there are two features required. Once if user click on this, it will open a new tab or updates the same tab with a analytical report for the detailed or the drill down analysis. At the same time, again, if it clicks on it, it will go into the planning mode and allow users to change these values. So how you will achieve this? Because if you make it enable, then whenever user clicks on it, it will open the analytical report and user won't be able to do the planning. So then switch will be a very good option. So you can name it as drill down. Okay, and drill down, and if drill down is not enabled, then user will be able to use the normal function like double clicking and changing the value. If drill down is on, then it will go to the value. So the sample script I will show you is, go to edit script, on select, and here you need to write, this is your switch name dot, and you can see it returns the value whether switch is on or not. Okay, so if switch is on, let's see all other values as well. So if switch is on, and this is like just the widget is visible or invisible, or you can also set it on. Okay, so here you are checking whether it is on, and here you can also set it on. Okay, so you can hover over, it will say turns the switch on or off. Okay, so if you go by this, then you need to write the boolean. If you write true, then it will turn it on. If you write here false, then it will turn it off, the switch. Okay, but here what we are doing is we are checking whether it is on or not. So if it is on, then only drill down script will run. Okay, that means navutils dot open some data analyzer or story URL, then select the respective story. Okay, so you can select the respective story or data analyzer. You can pass the parameter getting the value. So you need to write a logic to get the value from the table and pass it as a parameter and then open. So that will only run this drill down feature when the switch is on. If the switch is off, this will not run. So this is the way you can use this switch. So I will not go into more detail of how the drill down analysis works because that topic is not relevant for filters and controls. We will cover it in different session where we will be using like how we can use a script to open another story or another URL and pass the parameters. So that's all for today's session regarding filters and controls. Hope you like the content. If yes, do subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. I'll come up with more exciting SSC and DataSphere videos very soon. Till then, stay tuned. Have a nice day. Bye bye.